What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Monday, November 18th to all of you. Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is Betting with the Bag. Big Monday card. Only 2 games in NHL, 9 games in NBA. Then we have the Monday Nighter at Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. And we have a full NCAA basketball card to break down. That will be on the Late Show with Maxwell Smart. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. 2 plays per day. Geghard A. Love this. Says, good morning, Low Bagger. Sending out all the good vibes out there for a big Monday night win. I hope we can all shave major profit. Major profits from this awesome NBA card. I've already locked in 1 play in NBA. More to come. Nilo in the house. Anna Merrick, fresh off of crushing MMA on Saturday. Mr. Mississippi Razor made money. Hit 6 picks 2 days straight. Beautiful work. Red Girl in the house. Canascat. There's Matt Randall. Taint play of the day in business. Notre Dame -24 is the Taint play of the day. Other plays, Bryant -1. West Virginia -15.5. Belmont -22.5. Auburn -15. Michigan State over 141. And the Taint 9-1 in the last 10 plays. Has it ever been hotter? And he's hitting 76% in NCAA basketball. Wow. Matt Randall absolutely destroying. What a guy he is. Ty Clinton, Cuban Connect, Brant Hunt in the house. JB Brown ready to get to work. Joe Anisi, Richard Lee, James, Carlos Peroche, Lenny, Jean-Louis, Seth, Gas Station Sushi. Chiefs first half -3 max bet for Gas Station Sushi. Wow. It's an interesting look. And a must copy and paste right there. Copy and paste it. There's Jooks. There's T-Fed. Says, need a birthday pic. Happy birthday, T-Fed. Celebrating his birthday here. Yes, we will get you a birthday pic. Rye Cape, Naeem, 25. Ronald Durante. Spent the last hour watching vids on you. Thank you, Ronald. Unbelievable. Ready to roll. What a great group. Schaff, Chris Grassi, Mitch Bruner, Prince of the City. Says, I can tell you we're drinking. Yeah, my liver is not good. There's David Boston in the house. David Boston, what up, hustlers? David Boston, man. The chat's getting classier. We got guys like David Boston joining us. Eddie Euler, Walla, Dose Jamel Wright. Dan Kelly says, thank you, Matt Randall. Your work is appreciated more than you know. AM Barbecue Sauce Tea, play today. Euro qualifiers, Denmark versus Ireland, draw +220. Deer Slayer Ski. Love AM's Barbecue Sauce Titty play of the days. Always giant plus lines. There's Barry in the house. All right. Let's get to work. Dan Kelly says, I had to pay -120 to get -26 on Notre Dame, but that is the line move. You pay for greatness. All right. Foreigns accidentally put my $100 teaser in to win 800 and twice. But it cashed. I love hearing that. Okay, great stuff. All right, let's get after it. We have Dan Kelly bringing us in some NBA action. He's on first half Knicks -1. Looking forward to cap all of this right now. Here we go. Copy and paste right there. James H. says, big day today. And Topset says, I'm back with a chip on my shoulder. Let's get there. Sebastian Arnold ready to rock. Okay, let's get to work right now. We're going to be joined in 47 minutes by Teddy Covers to see what he's hammering in NCAA football. There's Mr. Gokster in the house. Let's start with the National Hockey League. I'm coming off a disappointing day. Friday would have been fine had I not added the Kings. I also was on the Devils -1, and they won 2-1, so that was a push. So a little disappointing. So the numbers have dropped a little bit. Rafa, my man, can you pop up our NHL record? Still up double-digit units. Still fine. There's Elliot V ready to go. Cole Coleon says, what's going on with Falcons? I went 3-2 in NFL. The NFL is just... It's a tough league for me to crack right now. I'm just not seeing things clearly. All right, let's get to work in NHL. We're going to start with Ducks Capitals. Let's make sure that we have Sportsbook Review odds page up and Adam. Here we go. Sportsbookreview.com, the best odds page in the business. Going to spreads and totals here. And then let's make sure I have Pinnacle as an opener. And I don't. I'm going to switch it over to Pinnacle quickly. And there we go. Let's get to work, starting with two games in the National Hockey League. Anaheim, Washington. Washington opening up at minus 193, now minus 224. So a big, juicy 31-cent move over to Washington. This total was initially juiced to the under, and now it's juiced to the over, which I found very interesting. I came close to making a move on the under. Anthony Chalmers says, you like the Kings tonight, Jimmy? I like the money line. We're going to talk about that game very, very soon. Very, very, very soon. Starting with this Ducks game. We have Gibson, Holtby. This Ducks team 4-5-0 on the road. A Ducks team that I do not trust. John Gibson, a very good goalie with not very good numbers. 2.83 goals against average, 9.15 save percentage. I expect those numbers to improve. Braden Holtby, 9.0 save percentage, but he's won 9 of his last 10 starts. Washington coming in after beating Boston 3-2 in a shootout Saturday night on the road. Improved their road record to 10-1-1, but their home record is 5-2-3. Ducks coming into this game after a 4-1 victory over the Blues on Saturday. The Blues are going to be a nice fade for us moving forward. I believe they're going to be a nice fade. That would have been a great spot to do it. Anaheim snapped a 5-game losing streak, and that began a tough 4-game road trip. We talk about this a lot. Another guy who talks about this a lot is Tomarino Tomor. We talk about when teams are losing at home and go out on the road, that's what the team needs, and they step up in that situation. Ralph Wano, Chiefs -4, and the over at 52. That's going up. All right, I'm going to copy and paste that right now as fast as possible. Okay. Anthony Chalmers says, I believe in you, Jimmy. Jerry Beatty in the house. Okay. Let's keep rolling here. In saying that, I have some Midnight Piper joining us. I have some interest in the under here, but I'm hesitant to pull the trigger. I went over Anaheim's depth chart this morning, and Derek Grant, they have young skill on this team, and Derek Grant is the one stepping up, coming up with that hat trick against the Blues. Prince of the City says, where is Flash? I watched the game with him. Prince of the City, I watched the game with him. I even took a little money out of his pocket because we went heads up. I had the under, he had the over. And Caden in the house says, watching from Australia at 2 a.m. Thank you, Caden Russell. There's Richie Rich in the house. I want to hear what he's going to handle, how he's going to handle this NHL card. Caden Russell putting in that work at 2 a.m. in Australia. Jason Scott says, any under in Caps games is scary. It's only scary if the Caps fall behind. So if the Caps fall behind 2-0, 3-0, you have to in-play the over immediately. But if the Caps take a lead, they can handle leads. They can play. They can tighten up their game. Mr. Goxer says, I was hoping to get a 6.5. I would have been on the under, Jim. Well, right now, I'm not against. The Ducks don't want to get in a firefight, but I am a little hesitant to make a move here on the under. But the Ducks know how they win this game. They win this game by being very tight and very conservative and winning 2-1. I'm interested in the under. I'm very interested in the under. I'm not sure if I'm going to make a move right now. I'm just going to leave that as a lean to the under right now. I would get it at 6. Let's keep rolling. And Mr. Ghost, and also Holtby's been played tough competition lately. Holtby's playing well. Mr. Ghost said I'd rather Miller right now for that under. Richie Rich says Ducks are 5-0 last 5 head-to-head. Team total over 2.5. Ducks team total over 2.5. Interesting from Richie Rich. Very, very, very interesting look. There's Spencer Hicks in the house. Let's keep rolling along. Kings, Coyotes. See how we're going to handle this spot here. Ever since the Kings made that move on Kovalchuk, told Kovalchuk, look, you're not good enough to play on their hockey team, they've stepped up. This is a total at 5.5. I was even contemplating trying to get under this 5.5, but again, afraid to pull the trigger. Arizona opening up at minus 172. Now it's up to minus 176. We have a 4-cent move towards these Coyotes. A 4-cent move. Richie Rich says, I'm afraid that 6 pushes Jimmy with the Ducks. Yes, I hear that for sure. Joseph Gomez, I hear you, Joseph Gomez. Jonathan Quick, Darcy Kemper, and Eddie always saying under 6 would be a lean, but Capital's such an over team this year. All right, Quick, Kemper. Kings going 2 points. Oh, and again, back to the under. Remember, this is a Ducks team that has 9.1% power play, and the Capitals have an 85.7% penalty killing. I just don't see how the Ducks, you know what? I'm very close to making a move on the under. Eddie Oil says Ducks won 6-5 last meeting in Washington. Mr. Gokster says Quick on the road is worst netminder in the league. Elliot V liking the Yotes tonight against these Kings. Kings have 11.4% power play, and the Coyotes and the Kings' terrible penalty killing at 73.5% can't be abused by this Coyotes team, who's gone one for their last 24 on the power play. There's a Hilly in the house. Tabarek ready to get to work. Mr. Ghost says Kemper has been lights out of late. There's Noli Nose joining us as well. Kemper especially getting in that fight. So he grabbed Matthew Tkachuk, threw him to the ice, got the standing ovation for doing it, and that's going to bring this team together. Jason Kelly liking Arizona -1.5. Kemper playing well. Coyotes won 3 of 4. Kings had a nice chance to beat the Golden Knights on Saturday. Carter ended up... So, the Kings are playing better hockey than it looks. And I still don't know why Jeff Carter's on the wing and not center. Doughty playing better. Shadow says take both Washington and Arizona first period puck line. I do not know what to do with these 2 games in NHL right now. I lean towards unders in both of them. But I do. I lean towards unders in both of them. And we have Gas Station Sushi. Max betting the over in the first half of Chiefs-Chargers. Max betting the over first half. Wow. Okay. I don't know what to do still even in that game. We're going to be talking Monday Night Football. We're going to start when we get Teddy's breakdown of that game. Mr. Gold says again wanted a 6 for that under. Hit a 5-pick parlay last night. Attaboy, Lamar Williams. Mr. Mississippi Razor made money. Man, that last touchdown the Niners scored with no time on the clock must have hurt the people who got in late. But I got in at plus 11.5, so I was fine. And Nisbet, my guy Eric Nisbet saying Chiefs minus the candy, lay it and play. All right, I'm not going to make any moves in NHL. I'm going to sit with these spots for longer. But I do lean towards the under. And I guess I even have some interest on the road team. Some interest, not enough to probably pull the trigger to get those big plus lines. All right, so sadly, I'm not making a move in NHL, and I apologize for that. Not the best NHL content I could be giving you. But I think I'm probably going to pull the trigger on an under in the Ducks-Capitals game. Ronnie Christie liking Caps -1.5 and the Kings on the money line. Richie Rich says not a good spot for the Kings fade position. It is a fade position, but I also don't want to back the Coyotes as favorites. I don't know if I trust them. Let's move on to NBA and start breaking down this giant NBA card. Can we pop up the NBA record? Because that's no longer double-digit units. I was on Orlando Magic -3. Rudy Gay threw a dagger three-pointer. And then DeRozan fouled right away. And I was like, okay, perfect. Well, at least I can push. And I missed... had Fournier missed the last foul shot, so the Magic only won by 2, and I got the loss. Abdabet says, are you in the live line show tonight, Jimmy? Yes, I'm on the live line show tonight, and hopefully won't get too intoxicated. But yes, I'll be on the live line, and I partied pretty hard this weekend. That should slow me down tonight. All right, let's keep on moving into the association. Let me go to the play that I'm on first and foremost, and this is kind of a simple play for me. I like fading teams in the Raptors situation. I jumped on the Hornets +9 at +100. Raptors played better than we expected them to on this big, tough road trip. Then they come all the way back home. First game at home, I'm taking the Hornets +9. JF says, Jimmy, why no Washington -1.5? I just don't feel like we're getting value with the Capitals at home right now. I just don't feel like we're getting value with the Capitals at home, and I'm not going to. Princess says, can't wait for the live line show. It's tough to do the live line show because I'm up at 5 in the morning working, and then I'm 10 at night drunk on camera. Not good. Joseph Gomez says, double fist of Lecce and Earl Grey tea. Power through, Jimmy. Okay, let's power through together. So Hornets +9. Hornets scoring 106.7 points per game, allowing 112.2, but they like playing with each other. and they're getting opportunities, and one man, Devontae Graham, is taking advantage of them. He's playing good basketball. This, to me, is just a fade the Raptors spot after they played out of their minds on that road trip, even including the loss to the Mavericks. They're playing very good basketball without very important pieces in Lowry and Ibaka. The Hornets get Batum back. He does a lot of things for them. He's going to get more comfortable, too, dealing with that fractured finger. They still have Dwayne Bacon out of the lineup. I just feel like these Hornets can stay close. Enough that I almost took the Hornets first half as well, and I didn't double up. That was a spot where I did not double up. And we have a Gooch play of the day from Corey Simmons. Phoenix minus 3.5. I like hearing that. That might be a play that I jump on myself. There's Jay Money is money in the house right now. Love seeing that. Thank you for joining us, Jay. Can't wait to see your show today with this giant NBA card. So, yeah, Eddie saying that, Eddie was saying Charlotte's won the last two meetings. Charlotte's always played us tough, but they're new characters in this rivalry. There's new characters in this matchup, and I'm not entirely, this isn't a play because I've seen how tough the Hornets play us, because it's generally Kemba who gets to us. Jamel says Siakam and Van Fleet have to be tired playing 40 minutes per game. I agree. And Antonio Chavez saying, put your entire bankroll on the Chiefs tonight. Dustin H says, I won 200 on that last play, fumble TD in the Niners game. Sometimes the betting gods are with you. Well, I'm happy that you got that, Dustin H. I was worried. Jay Money also saying Suns are the play today. I've got a big L to a lean beside that spot. So let's take a look at that game next, because I want to talk about Suns Celtics. And then we'll go through the card in order. Let's go right now. Celtics Suns. I got asterisk, question mark, right behind them. Let's see what the market's doing with this game here in Phoenix. Phoenix opening up at -4. There are a bunch of 3.5s on the board, and one of them is at Bet365. Why is this not? Am I not? Oh my God, I'm not even logged in. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I don't know why that. I thought that was Bet365, but it's just Bet. There we go. And let's make sure. Okay, sorry, you guys. I was not logged into my sportsbook review account. Okay, there we go. Phoenix is at 3.5 at Bet365. I do find that appealing. Anna Merrick says, I was live at the Flames Yotes game. Man, that was fun as hell. Oh, I imagine. Everything, you guys, Coyotes have a good team for the first time. It's nice to see. All right, Celtics, 113.8 points per game, 105.8 points allowed, getting distribution, but no one's getting the distribution of the Suns, 28.8 assists a game. Celtics on the second half of back-to-back after having their 10-game winning streak snapped last night at Sacramento. They're third in the league with a plus 8-point differential. Suns are fifth at 7.1. This is the Suns' final game of a 6-game homestand. You know Monty's going to want them to finish this off with a win. They're 3-2 with this homestand. Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Atlanta have been the wins. Losses to Miami and the Lakers. They've been home for 16 days straight. They haven't played since Thursday night, since they beat the Atlanta Hawks. I would not be surprised if the Celtics come out of the gate fast, but then end up losing this game late. Baines, man, averaging 15 points a game, triple his average over his first 7 years. He's made 22 of 47 threes this year. He only had 25 threes coming in. There's Big Lou in the house joining us. Big Lou in the house. And Nilo says sports interaction at Celtics at plus 3.5. I agree. I think this is a spot for the Suns. This has got to be a tired Celtics squad. And starting the trip with wins and putting them in a situation where they're 5-2 on the road, they can lose this game. The Suns need to win this game. They need to win this game. They had 6 straight games at home, 16 days. I agree with the chat. I agree with Jay Money is money. I agree with you guys. I'm going to jump on these Celtics right now. And the best lines coming from Bet365 and, I say Celtics Suns right now. Bet365 and William Hill both hanging the 3.5 and -110. I'm in. I am in. Illwise in the house. Antoine Seymour saying Celtics money line. You know, I just feel like this is a tough spot for them. Jason Kelly on the Celtics Suns over 226. So is Pepper. I'm going to grab -3.5 and -110 right now. And then realize that I need to bet it. I haven't bet that one yet. I've already bet the Hornets. Let's take a look at what this total has done. This total opened up at 226.5 and it's just sitting there. Heritage has moved it up a point already to 227.5. Pepper says Celtics have played 3 games in 5 days away from home. Eddie Oler says Suns have gone over 5 in a row. 5 in a row. There's Dirty Will in the house. Dom Ricci, our guy Dom Ricci joining us. Love seeing that. Dom Ricci coming 8-4 in NFL, 3-1 NCAA football. I like him. I like it. Okay, and Big Lou is on the Celtics. So a couple people backing Celtics money line. I'm not. I think this is a spot where the Suns have to take care of business against a tired team. Have to take care of business. Corey Simmons says Celtics 2-6 against spread in their last 8 versus Western Conference. Suns are 43-18 against spread in their last 61 versus the Atlantic. Celtics are 0-7 against spread in the last 7. Celtics are 0-4 against spread in the last 4. Wow. And Jay Money says, let's get cash. Jimmy. Let's cash it, Jimmy. I love it. Thank you for joining us, Jay. Money is money. Okay, let's keep breaking down this card as we roll right now. And we'll start with Cavaliers-Knicks. Let's go with Cavaliers. Knicks just played last week in a big win for the Cavaliers. That prompted a lot of talk from the brass of the Knicks that this was not good enough. Knicks opened up at -2.5, now -3s across the board. This total opened up at 207.5. Is that 210.5, 211, or 211.5? So after that bad loss, Scott Perry, Steve Mills, the general manager and the president, held a dual press conference saying that it was not enough. So then the Knicks followed that up by getting beaten up by the Bulls very late because of Kobe White, who went off. And then they earned a big win over Dallas Mavericks. That was on Thursday, Madison Square Garden. They beat Dallas twice. And those are 2 of their 3 wins so far this year. Von Burgess says pass game. Jay Money says revenge game, Jay. You know, if we're talking about revenge game, Jay, he is liking the Knicks. Jermel Wright liking the Knicks. Dan Kelly liking the Knicks. But Jermel Wright and Dan Kelly taking the Knicks early. 103-102 loss Saturday night to the visiting Hornets. That was the last-second spot there. Cavaliers, second half of a back-to-back. They did not look good in that back-to-back last night. 114, or the start of it, 114-95. Loss Sunday was the third straight for the Cavaliers. The loss to the Sixers Sunday came 3 days after the Cavs fell to the Heat. Back-to-back double-digit losses are the first of the season for Cleveland. And Bayline not happy. He was very upset last night for the first time so far in this young season, and this is his first season coaching these Cavs. He was very upset last night. He said we had a great crowd and we gave them nothing. Jay Money's also on the Knicks first half, -1.5. Wow, all these guys back in the Knicks, -1.5 first half. Wow, interesting. And this total has gone up 3. Midnight Piper also rolling with the Suns. Von Polo, New York Knicks, Phoenix Suns moneyline parlay. 1 for the money in the house. 1 for the money in the house. Big Lou says, Knicks are too hard to predict pass. And where's Dennis Smith Jr.? End of the bench. He just looks terrible. Their point guard play from Ntilikina and Dennis Smith Jr. terrible. All right, I'm keenly aware that some excellent cappers are on the Knicks first half. And I'm just going to leave that as a lean right now. All right, let's keep rolling along. Now, let's move on to Pacers-Nets. There's a ton of moving parts in this Pacers-Nets spot. We have injuries that we are dealing with, and this is a situation right now that if I find out there's no Kyrie, I will back Brooklyn. This opened at -4 for Brooklyn, now 3s. The total opened up to 221, now down to 218.5, even 218 at some books. Von Burgess says fade New York teams. That's Von Burgess and Von Polo. Sorry, okay. And Michael Jordan now says, I wouldn't put your money on the Knicks. Of course, I mean, you're Michael Jordan. You hate the Knicks. All right, let's keep going. Pacers, 25.1 assists per game. Nets, just 23.7 assists per game. Nets defense, bad, but they step up. You know, capping teams with Kyrie Irving on them is very difficult. Dealing with a right shoulder impingement may or may not be in the lineup. Pepper saying Brogdon out right now. Pacers are also dealing with injuries right now. Pacers aren't going to have, possibly not going to have Jeremy Lamb, possibly not going to have Malcolm Brogdon. They were hoping that Brogdon was going to be back. Sean Glass saying an under in this Pacers spot. Nilo saying Irving is a game-time decision. A game-time decision. Dutch Boy Fresh, same with me. He says, if Kyrie sits, I like the Nets. Astute Chaos liking the Pacers, Nets, first half under 112.5. There's Brian Watson in the house. Dan Kelly backing Boston, first quarter, +1 at -105. You know, that makes sense to me, Dan. That makes a ton of sense to me to back the Celtics early after coming off that loss. I think they lose the game late, but backing them early just makes a ton of sense to me. And this is a Suns team that's been off since Thursday. It's very possible that they start off slow. I think that Dan is absolutely right with that call, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to tail Dan there. I'm on Suns -3.5, -110 full game, but let's take the Celtics first quarter here. First quarter for these Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics first quarter. Let's see what we're dealing with. Let's go. Let's see if I get a plus money line here. Let's get a plus money line on these Boston Celtics. Wow, look at that. First quarter, I'm getting a plus 125. Plus 125 at Pinnacle, plus 125 at UWager. I'm going to take the Celtics first quarter on the money line. Celtics first quarter money line at plus 125. All right, I like it. I like it. Thank you, Dan, for pushing me in that direction. That pumps me up. Mally Mouse says Celtics going to get blitzed by Clippers. They're playing the Suns. So it's the Thunder that are playing the Clippers. Okay, let's stay focused here. Pacers Nets. So Irving shoulder impingement, which means that Dinwiddie started for Irving beside Garrett Temple, and Dinwiddie stepped up late. Nets shot 61% in the final quarter, 19 of 21 free throws. Nets are 2-3 on that trip. I do not want to back the Nets on their first game home. It's similar to this Raptors situation. There is Nut Flush Jr. in the house. Build your own prop. Marcus Smart over 3-pointers at plus money. Nut Flush Jr. in the house. Sure, I'll copy and paste that. Love seeing Nut Flush Jr. Love seeing the Nut Flush family rolling with us. Oh, man, I like that. And let's see what Mr. Gokes are quickly saying about NHL very, very quickly. Mr. Gokes are saying, from what I found, the only way Arizona doesn't win is if they take the Kings lightly here. Wish I was a fly in the room to hear their level of want for this game. Dom Ricci on the Chiefs -4. And Nilo liking Nutflush Jr.'s look. And I copied and pasted. Okay, let's keep rolling here. Pacers Nets. So Irving was questionable for the previous 2 games he played in. And then he was not in the lineup last night. So he played Thursday against the Nuggets, held to 17 points. He's averaging 28.5, but 4 for 23 from three-point range the last 3 games. Obviously, he's hurting. Junior Brown says, stay off the Nets, Jimmy. No consistency. Yes, there's so many moving parts in this game. And capping any team that has Kyrie Irving on it is difficult. Pacers have won 10 of the last 11 meetings. Nets are 7-3 in their past 10 games. So Indiana won 4 straight games with 4 losses to Houston and Milwaukee in a back-to-back set. Big news is they get Miles Turner back from that ankle sprain. So he comes back, 16 points, 11 boards, 4 blocks. He makes his team so much better. So much better. All right, let's keep rolling now. There's Maxwell Smart joining us. Maxwell Smart will be on the Late Show to break down the entire NCAA basketball card. All right, I'm not making a move in the Nets game. There's going to be a lot more information we'll have for the Late Show, so why don't we just leave it at that. Then, as you know, I'm on the Hornets +9 at +100. If I wanted that right now, let's go do full game point spreads and see what we'd be dealing with. See if I wasn't sure whether or not to try and beat the line move. There's been a 2-cent move towards Charlotte, so whatever. It is what it is. Okay, let's keep rolling along. Next up, we have Blazers, Rockets. 17.8 assists per game. Both the Blazers and the Rockets just not getting distribution, but the Rockets don't really need it. Rockets won 7 straight. Harden just wants to have the ball all game long. In the 7-game winning streak the Rockets are on, Harden's averaging 43 points, 6.7 boards, 7.9 assists, and 2.3 steals. Mally Mouse says Pacers easy. Pacers easy. Interesting. Yeah. With Turner back, they're a much better team. If Kyrie plays, I think we back the... I'm going to take this lean towards the Nets if Kyrie doesn't play. And then if Kyrie does play, then I will take the Pacers. All right, there we go. Astute Chaos says line is fishy. Melisha Grace, fully broken, is on Pacers and Celtics tonight. Dan Kelly on the Brooklyn team total under 111. First game back from a road trip. I like that look a lot. Dan Kelly. All right, let's talk Rockets, Blazers. Capella going to be back in the lineup. Everyone expecting it was a light concussion. He'll be back in the lineup. Sat out 2 games with the concussion. Daniel House also expected to be back in the lineup, and we know Eric Gordon won't be back until December. Blazers coming off the victory over the Spurs. That snapped a stretch of 6 losses over their past 7 games. And it was McCollum finally stepped up. And we remember Junior Brown said that on this show. He said, I'm not going to back this Blazers team until I see signs of life from McCollum. And we finally saw CJ step up. Portland got 21 points, 12 boards, 3 blocks from Whiteside. They got 16 from Rodney Hood. And they win the opener of a 6-game, 10-day road trip. This is another situation. We keep seeing it in hockey and in NBA where a team is playing bad at home. They get out on the road. It's a relief to be away from the pressure of losing at home, and they play well early. Chocolate chip donuts. Okay, that's nice, Max. That must smell very nice. Eddie Euler leaning towards the Houston Rockets. There's Jin in the house. Mr. Rizzo ready to go. DX Filer ready to go. And Jamel saying Melo won't play tonight. No, I'm looking forward to see if he can resurrect his career. Michael Jordan on the under. Going to have Capella with his defense. Tyson Chandler getting less minutes. Let's see what we're talking about in this spot here with the Rockets and the Blazers. Rockets open up a -6. They're all the way up to 7.5. Let's get the spreads and totals so we can see both here. This total opening up at 231.5, now down to 230.5. Okay. Eddie Oates' Rockets have gone under 5 in a row. Jamel writes, as Westbrook messes up Harden's rhythm, Rockets beat Clippers with Westbrook in foul trouble. Like Blazers to cover. And Joe Anise is saying Melo trash. All right. Interesting. The under, interesting. I'd love to hear what Jay and JB and Dan Kelly think of this total here. Prince of the City says just take Harden props. But do we want to take Harden props when Westbrook's back? I don't know if we do. All right, let's move over to Bucks Bulls. We cashed on the Bulls last week when these two teams met in Milwaukee. Bucks have won 3 straight. Bulls are not getting distribution. We know what Satoransky does at the point. He plays good defense. But he doesn't distribute enough or well enough to have consistent offense. The Bulls are always going to find themselves struggling offensively. Now they go up against Giannis and Bledsoe. So it was a 124-115 Bucks win last time these teams met, and Giannis and Bledsoe went off. Milwaukee will not have Middleton. He's out for an extended period of time because of a left thigh contusion. He's averaging 18.5 points. And that was the first game they were playing without Middleton, and that was one of the main reasons why I faded them. It's one of the main reasons why I faded them. I was just questioning where were they going to get the offense, and they got all the offense from Giannis and Bledsoe. Juk says Bucks bring the pain tonight. Nilo saying Zach LaVine is a game-time decision. Zach LaVine's been bitching to the press about them not scoring enough. Yenny Toon says, yeah, Harden props always seem to be the play. And cash. Corey Simmons says, take any Westbrook props. He has personal beef with Lillard. I think he will get in the way of Harden putting up numbers. I agree with you, Corey Simmons. I agree with you completely. I think that's such a good call. An absolutely great call. Look at this. We have Michael Jordan and David Boston in our chat right now. Pro athletes capping with us. Mally Mal says Bucks murder scene. I'm certainly not going to sit here with road favorites. I can't do it. Yeah, and Nilo saying Otto Porter is out too. Yes, left foot sprain. So we'll see Chandler Hutchison starting. So it's going to be the Satoransky, Levine, Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr. Wendell Carter Jr. playing well, but I'm certainly not going to be backing the Bulls in this situation. This would be Bucks or nobody, and at this time, I think it's going to be nobody. Let's take a look at this total. Opened up at 230, still there. It's gone down a half point at some books. Dan Kelly says the first half over looks like the play in Houston tonight, but the sample size is small. Big Lou liking Milwaukee as well. There's Joshua Gray in the house. Took Coyotes -170. I just don't think you should ever take -170s, Josh. I would turn that into a -1 line. It's just too hard to win consistently if that's the number. that you're dealing with. So, yeah, I mean, they're likely to win the hockey game tonight. I'm not going to be on them, but I really think you have to turn those into -1s or even puck lines. All right, so let's move on to the Spurs Mavericks. The Mavericks have not been good at home, 3-3 at home, and the Spurs have lost 5 straight games for the first time since 2010. There's Stu in the house. Thank you for joining us. The Bookie Bandit. I've not made any NHL picks at this point. I'm very close to taking the under in Anaheim, Washington, but I've yet to do that. All right, Mavericks enter the game after that 110-102 win against the Raptors. Luka keeps rolling, 26 points, 15 free throws, 19 attempts, 15 boards, 7 assists, and Porzingis career-high 15 rebounds, and they say it was his best game in the Mavericks uniform. Curry and DeLon Wright each putting up 15. Kleber and Finney Smith each scoring 10. They're starting to get a ton of help for those two guys, which is what's happening now. There's M. Wooms in the house. Spurs are coming off losing their 5th straight game. What do we do with the San Antonio Spurs squad? We don't back them, but this is the spot that you have to think. You have to think they're going to step up. 8 losses in 10 games. They just keep losing. Dan Kelly says if the Mavs have a lead at halftime, I will be on the Spurs second half. Nilo says Spurs look like a blow-up is coming. They don't look well. And there's Roman Peddle in the house representing the Rock. A Newfoundland in the house. Love it, Roman. Newfoundland in the house. And Midnight Piper says, where are you at, Junior Brown? I'd love to hear what Junior Brown has to say about this giant card right now. Aldridge leads the Spurs with 30 points and 13 boards, but it's not enough. Forbes goes for 17. Rudy Gay goes for 16. DeMar DeRozan goes for 16. I don't think they're going to blow this up, but I think DeMar DeRozan is going to get traded. Spurs were without DeJounte Murray. He's going to be back. It was the second half of a back-to-back. DeJounte's going to be in the house. And Joshua says, I say Coach Pop finally gets them, and they might finally play some D. I cannot trust them. I cannot trust the Spurs right here, but it's a fishy line. I would have thought that the Mavericks would be 6-point favorites, and they're 4.5-point favorites, which is just fishy. This total opened up at 226.5, now at 224.5. And I've yet to make a move on it. Mally Mouse says Spurs just coming to work, not working on their craft. Eddie Ole says Spurs have won the last 5 meetings with Dallas. And Michael Jordan says trust, Mavs will cover full game. Joe Anisi says Spurs get right here. Pop got thrown out last game. They lost 5 in a row, not sold on the Mavs. There's Arthur Meade Jr. in the house. This is a fishy game. Shaft says I'm personally hard fade on the Spurs. And you're only talking about that 8-point win, 110-102 at home over the Raptors. There's Seth in the house. Nutflush Allen says this dude's going to be late for school. Then he tells me he's giving up my plays. Oh, I love it, Nutflush Jr. in the house. All right, so I've doubled up on the Celtics-Suns game already. I'm on the Suns -3.5 full game. I'm on the Celtics first quarter money line at +125. Let's move on to Timberwolves at Jazz. We have 2 more games on this card. 12 more minutes until we're joined by Teddy Covers. Let's get to work here. The Wolves are 4-2 on the road. They've been bad 2 games in a row where Wiggins has been dealing with personal matters in Canada. He's expected to be back in this spot. Expected to be back. Jokes. Okay. So he's expected to be back, but those of you who are backing the Timberwolves should wait. That was a spot that really angered me on Friday that I didn't pull the trigger on the Grizzlies +7.5. They win outright. Wiggins stepping up in a big way, though. So they've lost twice without him. They lost by 20 points to the Rockets on Saturday. It was the second half of a back-to-back, and that Rockets team had nobody in their lineup except for Harden. They lose the night before 137-116 to the Wizards on Friday night. They're playing bad basketball. Jermel liking this Jazz over, also the Clippers over. Spencer Hicks says a family that caps together cashes together. And how much fun are the holidays when you cap with your family? Man, Thanksgiving, the basketball card on Christmas Day. Wiggins, 20 points in each of his past 7 games, 30 or more in 4 of them. He's rolling 29.1 points during that stretch. Jazz, 4-game winning streak halted on Friday when they fell 107-106 to the Grizzlies. Conley did not play well in that game. 2 of 8 from 3, 5 of 19 from the field. And look at the assists the Jazz are getting, 19.8 assists a game. You're almost thinking, is Rubio a better point guard than Conley? He's certainly more affordable. Certainly more affordable. Dat boy cold liking the over in this spot as well in Timberwolves Jazz. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on with Wiggins before I make a move in this game. There's my guy Rez Mob in the house. Donovan Mitchell, 29, 9, and 5. He didn't get a shot away in that Grizzlies game with the last second ball in his hands. He's averaging 25.4 points per game. He's top 20 in 10 of Utah's 12 games this year. And this Minnesota team is bad. And Wiggins has played a little bit of defense for the first time. Jamel Wright says Jazz are a different beast at home. They certainly are. Let's see what we're getting if you back the Jazz. 10 points. 10 points, 9.5 points. Jamel Wright says, RotoWire says Wiggins is doubtful. Interesting. I didn't know that. I thought he was going to be in. Very, very, very interesting. Von Polo says, I can't wait until Christmas. I'll be in Las Vegas for the whole week. That does sound like a nice place to spend Christmas. Von Polo with the fam. I love it. Okay. I'm hesitant to making a move, but if more money comes in on the Timberwolves, I guess, if I could get the Jazz at 8.5, should I pull the trigger? Yes, Rez, we have a taint play of the day. It is Notre Dame, minus 24. Notre Dame, minus 24. All right, let's move on to Thunder Clippers right now. Let's move on to Thunder Clippers. Clippers opening up at minus 9.5, now minus 10. This total opened up at 219.5, now 221. And we will see, for the first time, Paul George on the floor with Kawhi Leonard. We're expecting. Paul George has been spectacular. Spectacular so far. And now he plays against his ex-team. 37 points in 20 minutes on Saturday. This, to me, feels like a spot for the Thunder, in all honesty, where we're going to watch George and Kawhi play together. Kawhi, I'm sure, will try to take a back seat, and then there'll be times where Paul George will try to take a back seat. And Dan Kelly saying 24 is long gone with Notre Dame. There is the taint play of the day. Notre Dame minus 24. Also on Bryant minus 1. West Virginia minus 15.5. Belmont minus 22.5. Auburn minus 15. Michigan State over 141. And Middle Tennessee plus 2.5. And Eddie Oler Jazz are 3-9 to the under. 3-9. Melisha Grace fully broken says Clippers roll. Clippers roll. Yenny Toon said, I think Clipper will murder the Thunder tonight. See, I think the opposite. I think that they're going to be figuring things out when they're on the floor together. If Kawhi is announced to be in the lineup, most likely Leonard would play against the Thunder. I agree with Big Boss. I think that this total will keep getting bet up, and it should be an under spot. And I would like to back Oklahoma City first half. And Dom Ricci saying, if you're around tonight, Josh Point, will be joining Dom Ricci to talk about the NHL season. Would love to watch that, but I will be on live line. But love you guys. And Rez Mob says, love this chat. We love you, Rez Mob in the house. I think this is a perfect setup. A perfect setup for the Thunder. Thunder first half and the under. But right now, I'm going to wait. Money keeps coming in on the Clippers. Perfect. If I took the Thunder first half right now and first quarter, get plus 6. First quarter, plus 3.5. Oh, man. That's right, Brant. I am going to take OKC. This is a perfect spot for them. Everybody just watch the Clippers win by 49 points. They're going to have Paul George on the floor with Kawhi at the same time for the first time. This is a perfect situation to back the Thunder early and to take the under. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Everybody's going to be on the Clippers tonight. So I'm going to wait. Both of these spots are moving in the Clippers' direction. I'm going to take first quarter +3, first half +6 for sure. Everybody's going to be, look, everybody's saying Clippers. And Poker Dick says Thunder down under. All right, so I'm going to wait. But I'm telling you what, I'm going to go big in this game. I'm take Thunder first quarter, first half, and possibly the under. But I'm going to wait. It keeps going up. I'll just sit back and let it go up. This first, let me go to full game. Here we go. Up to 221.5. Okay, I'll just keep an eye on it. Pinnacle pushing this over. Eddie Oiler leaning Clippers. Everybody's going to be on Clippers. All right, let's talk about this Thunder. Coming off overtime win over the Sixers on Friday. Gallinari goes for 28. Paul goes for 27. And Shai is playing such good basketball. He goes for 24. Turd Ferguson goes for 19. This team is getting a lot from a lot of people. Oh, man. Am I sticking to my word on the audible that I guarantee I will finish the NFL season plus units, or I would quit? I didn't say quit, but I would leave Costa Rica, I believe, Jimmy Stain. I believe I would leave Costa Rica was, yeah. Alex Ramirez says, yes, Clippers, Jimmy. No, I'm going to go up against everybody. I don't see how I could possibly get my NFL to plus units, so I may have to leave. Jimmy Stain in the house. Arthur Mead says, thank you for your hard work making wagering fun. Can you ask Teddy Covers rotation number? Yes, I can. There we go. Copy and paste. Right there. Copy and paste. Guru saying, how about those Baylor Bears? We are going to be talking. I can't wait to talk college football with Teddy right now. Okay, so I am going to make a move on Thunder first quarter, Thunder first half, and the under. But there's no reason to get in right now. Let's go over. Astucat says, be weary. The Clippers are a crafty bunch. They mirror their opponent and do it. Hey, look, I just think first time they're on the floor together is going to be a great spot to fade them early. Great spot. And that's what I'm doing. Mally Mal says, Tom Brady wins you money. Militia says, Clippers by 30. Alex Ramirez, thank you. Okay, so let's go over everything right now because Teddy Covers will be coming on the show shortly. In NHL, Ducks Capitals. I lean towards the under, and I actually lean towards the under on both Ducks Capitals and Kings Coyotes, but I am very hesitant to pull the trigger. And then in NBA, I see all these spectacular cappers on the Knicks first half, and I'm hesitant to... I don't know what to do here. I'm definitely not going to go against them. So, and Stu says, love it to me on that first half Thunder. Yeah, but what we no need to make the bet now. Money's going to keep coming in on the Clippers. All right. Nets, we need to find out about Kyrie. So we're going to wait on that. I'm on the Hornets +9 at +100. I'm on 2 spots here in the Suns Celtics. I'm on the Celtics first quarter money line at +125, and I'm on the Suns -3.5 at -110. Then I'm going to make moves on the Oklahoma City Thunder first quarter, first half, and the under. That is my plan. Poker Addicted says, ask Teddy if he knew the Gophers had no kicker going into the Saturday game. All right. It was a tough spot. Right here. I'm going to copy and paste that. Here we go. Questions coming in. Feel free to start throwing in your questions for Teddy. Toby Lane saying, liking the Chiefs tonight, Jimmy. I don't see anybody on the Chargers right now. I've yet to make a move. We'll ask Teddy about the Monday Nighter as well. Ben Sports 24/7 bringing in his college action as well. He's on Tennessee Moneyline and Middle Tennessee at +2.5. That means that we have both Ben Sports 24/7 as well as Matt Randall on Middle Tennessee +2.5. And I noticed that. All right, I'm going to copy and paste that. Here we go. And everything is ready to go. So with Teddy, we're going to talk about Monday Night Football. We're going to talk about basketball. I'd like to start with basketball just because we just went over NBA. So I'll ask him about that first. Then we'll go into Monday Night Football. Then we'll take a look at what moves he's already made in this NCAA football card. And we will go. There's Rod Zwack. He says, I'm on the Chargers +5. And there's Joe, and he's saying, I'm on the Chargers +4.5. Okay. Nice to see that because all I've seen is people. And the over, says Rod Zwacky. And Dirty Will says, love the Chargers. Trey Hicks has a question right here. I will copy and paste it right now. Copy and paste. And here we go. All right. And let's bring the man in right now. Monday morning. You can catch him on every morning show at Sports Book Review. Betting with the Bag. Please welcome to the show direct from Las Vegas. My man, your man, Teddy Covers in the house. Teddy, how are you doing on this Monday morning?
I'm doing all right, Jimmy. How about yourself, man? Wasn't a great weekend by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't a disaster either. I'll take it, but I'm a little frustrated on Monday. It was a big weekend for the bettors, bad weekend for the books, and usually when the books do bad, it's not one of my better weekends.
Well, what happened for me in college football was I only made 3 bets. My plan was to only make 3 bets. I got to say it was my plan. Let me go over to it right now. And it was nice. I was on 3 spots. I was on Texas +7, App State -15, and Oklahoma -10.5. That was all I was going to do. And then I got an email from my father asking me to put $150 on UCLA +21.5. As soon as my dad said that, I should have called you and told you to hedge your bet and take Utah. Instead, I thought Teddy's on UCLA, my dad's on UCLA, so I went in with them. So I had 150 was his cash on UCLA. And it was 14-3 with 2.5 minutes left, and UCLA was in the red zone, and then everything fell apart for me. And I was also on Colorado State +11, and right about at the same time, 3rd and goal, Colorado State threw a pick 6 to hurt me on both. So I ended up going 2-3. But man, Teddy, as soon as I found out my dad was on UCLA, I should have called you right away. Instead, I went with you guys, and so I ended up 2-3. How did you think? What were your favorite? What was your takeaways from this past week in NCAA football?
Oh, there's a ton. But first, I have to say, you were the one that told me that when your dad calls, you bet the other way and you fade it.
I know.
You made it real clear. You're like, my dad is not a guy I want to be on the same side with, ever. Yeah, and unfortunately, what we saw in the UCLA game was the danger of that spot for the Bruins. They were in the game and then they weren't. And on the road in the cold, it was certainly not their best showing. We'll put it that way. I mean, takeaways, I got a million takeaways from the weekend. Let's see. I didn't enjoy Minnesota's missed extra point. That was a pretty big takeaway for me for the weekend. The Gophers were not a right side. They fought tooth and nail to get back in that game. They scored the touchdown, and they missed the extra point, which was a little bit frustrating to lose by 4, to put it mildly. I mean, where do I got so many notes from last weekend. Indiana against Penn State was a game that really stood out to me. The Hoosiers took punches in that game, and they punched back, and that's something, that character that we talk about doesn't show up in box scores. It'll show up in box scores in a way, but if you're not watching the teams, you're not going to get that sense. And I watched Indiana at Michigan State, late September, early October, and they got punched and they punched back. And that was a big part of the reason why I liked the Hoosiers last week. They got punched against Penn State and they punched back. And those type of nuances, something you learn about a team in September and October, it's the time of year you can make money with that stuff. There'll be a number of opportunities like that over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was a very interesting weekend, and we're really seeing who these teams are, and I feel like there's I'm going to go with less quantity like I did last time, but I should have just left it at 2-1. Man, what a mistake. Okay, we have questions rolling in, Teddy, but first off, before we get into, because I just needed you to know about the UCLA, we've just broken down this whole NBA card, and there are a couple looks that I like, and I can't wait to hear what you are on this NBA card. Then we'll move into Monday Night Football. Then we'll break down NCAA football a little more. What is your move in NBA tonight?
I made one play, only one bet in the NBA for tonight, and it's as easy as it gets. Knicks can't be laying. End of write-up. I took the Cavs +3. And I know the Cavs went into Madison Square Garden and won by 21 last week, and it was all hell broke loose in New York afterwards, and now they get a chance at short turnaround revenge, all that. I know Cleveland's on the second of back-to-backs. I don't care. The Knicks cannot be laying. The fact the Cavs beat them by 21 last week, the Cavs might beat them by 21 again tonight. And I love, you see the quotes at a Bayline and the Cavs after they had a no-show. On Friday, and then a no-show on Sunday. This is a game where the Cavs I expect to show up. Cleveland +3 is in my pocket. Cleveland on the money line's in my pocket. That's all I play.
I want to make a move on Oklahoma City Thunder first quarter, first half, and the under with Kawhi and Paul George playing together for the first time. There's no rush. Money's coming in on the over, and money's coming in on the Clippers. What do you think of fading this Clippers team early with the two on the court at the same time for the first time all year?
I certainly wouldn't talk you out of it. It's not on my radar. It's not something that I was looking to do. Clips aren't a team I'm going to rush to step in front of in general right now. But in these type of games where you have the former players coming back, Gallinari and Gilgeous-Alexander and all of that coming back to the Staples Center, I wouldn't be surprised to see OKC come out with fire. Makes a whole lot of sense. Wouldn't even think about talking you out of that, Jimmy. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I'm getting +3 right now, first quarter, +6 first half, and I think I might even get better as the day goes on. So I'm going to just sit back and keep an eye on the market before I pull the trigger on anything. Then Celtics Suns. I'm taking the Celtics first quarter on the money line, and I'm taking the Suns full game -3.5. What's your prediction of the Celtics on the second half of a back-to-back after losing their winning streak and going into Phoenix?
So this was a hard game for me. If I was going to play, I could only take Boston. All right, I really could. And if you watch the Celtics against the Kings last night, the Kings game with great energy in the fourth quarter. They made a couple of plays down the stretch. The Celtics had Marcus Smart had a shot that hung on the rim for an eternity, and they lost the game. Which snaps a winning streak. And in general, the team that has their winning streak snapped, you don't want on the second of back-to-backs on the road the next day. All that said, the quote's coming out of and this point spread is saying that this is a point spread that says Boston is equal to Phoenix on the second of back-to-backs. These two teams are power rated evenly. I don't have them power rated evenly. I don't have the Celtics only 1 point better than the Suns. Boston's good. So I guess of the two bets, I would prefer Boston first quarter / first half and Phoenix full game. Going to be fun with Baines against his former teammates. Everyone was talking about it prior to the, immediately after the game yesterday. Celtics are coming tonight. I wouldn't be in a rush to step in front of Boston.
Interesting. I love it. Thank you for your insights there. And now let's move to the Monday nighter, Azteca Stadium. Mexico City Chargers, Chiefs. Let's see what's going on with this market move quickly. And Chargers, 5-point favorites. Still 4.5 at Pinnacle, in Heritage, 5 everywhere else, 5.5 at Bovada. And this total opened at 53, is back at 53. Although Pinnacle and a couple other books are sitting at 52.5. So it's either 53 or 52.5. Chiefs, Chargers, how are you handling this one?
So the only way I can play it is Kansas City, and tonight's not a night I can play Kansas City. Let me make this real clear. The books took a beating yesterday. Saturday wasn't much better. It was the worst week of the year for the books. All right. The liability going into Monday night is significant. There's a public favorite on Monday night. Chiefs are the public favorite, very clearly. Chiefs and over. And the books just took a beating from the public all weekend. I'm not someone that's going to talk contrarian, you got to play contrarian, all no. But there are spots and there are times where you have to pay attention to this. And this is a spot and a time that you have to pay attention to this. The public money's on KC. The public destroyed the books all weekend. This might not be the night for a public favorite. I'll just leave it at that. So there's a case to be made for the Chargers here from a pure contrarian perspective. On a week like this, where there's significant liability for the books on Monday night. This is a spot where I do take the public into account. Doesn't happen often. This is one of those games where the books got wiped. I mean, they got pounded yesterday. Oh, the Lions going for 2 and not making it was a very bad result here in Las Vegas. I'll just put it at that. The Saints winning was a very bad result for the house. The Ravens winning was a bad result for the house. There was another huge one that I'm just falling asleep on right here. But, there was the Patriots, of course, beating the Eagles like that. These weren't, and the Patriots and the Cowboys were both as bad as any games that the books have had all year. And they're going to be facing the ridiculous liability on Monday night. So just be aware. So I guess I start with Chargers or pass from that point of view. And that leaves me with the pass because the Chargers aren't any good. We know the Chargers are any good. The Chiefs are loaded. The Chiefs are good. And the Chiefs are hungry, and the Chiefs have been in this Mexico City experience last year. Lots of things pointing towards Kansas City. And the biggest thing for me is I don't trust the Chargers. Don't think that team's very good on offense. Don't think that team's very good on defense. Phillip Rivers was lost last week. I wouldn't be surprised if he's lost again this week. All that said, if I got to make a bet, it'd be the Chargers. Pass for me.
What do you think about trying to get under the Chiefs team total at 30?
I mean, I'm not in love with it. I'm not looking to force action, okay? And 30 is pretty high, though, isn't it? How many games have the Chiefs not scored 30, though?
But the Chargers are the type of team that can keep the Chiefs off the field with their running game and with Melvin Gordon looking like he's, in a perfect spot right now. That's my only thinking is if I was coaching, if I was Lynn, I would be like, man, we got to run, and get this clock moving. First downs, move the chains, tire them out, keep the offense off the field. But that's easier said than done. It was just the first thing that jumped out at me, just from a coaching perspective, that I would do whatever I could to get, have the ball for 38 minutes of this game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you remember the last time these two teams played, they played last December. And the Chargers stole that game. In the last 5 minutes, they rallied from, I think, 3 scores down to beat Kansas City and won it right at the end. Chiefs only had 28 in that contest. That's been the exception rather than the rule in recent meetings against the Chargers. I'm not in love with taking the Chiefs. I mean, it's a hard game, Jimmy. I don't want to bet against the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs can do anything they want to. All right, offensively, they're sick. Okay, this is as good as offense as you're going to find. And Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and I think it, and I'll say it. So that's not a team, and I don't trust the Chargers defense. So I don't love it, but I wouldn't. But again, at 30, there's leeway there. Yeah, that's a pretty high team total. I don't know, Jimmy. It's not a game I got a great feel for.
Oh, Cuban Connect says Melvin Gordon rush yards is the spot. That's a great call, Cuban Connect. Oh, it's a great call. So how do you think this elevation in Mexico City is going to affect the game? At what, if you were looking from a props market or from how would you handle the elevation? What are we, 7,000 feet up in the air? How does that change the gameplay?
See, I never see this in the regular. Do you ever see second half to be higher scoring than the first half in the regular season? I see that for the Super Bowl. I don't recall seeing that a lot. That's one I'd look for. You expect the defenses to wear down after halftime. When you're talking about playing in altitude, the energy's there early, and it's more difficult to re-oxygenate your blood cells over the back half of the game. Players get gas late, defenses get gas late. Second halves tend to be higher scoring. Maybe look at a second half over. That's
interesting. That's a very interesting breakdown. Dustin H. Melvin Gordon over 81 rush yards plus 100. That's a lot of rush yards, man. Ski Prop says neither team can stop what the other team wants to do. Sean Glass says Chiefs under. Brant Hunt says both teams will get tired faster, so the game goes over. Yeah, we'll talk more about this game on the Late Show as well. Okay, Teddy Covers, let's move over to NCAA football. Where have you got to the window on any action so far this week?
Oh yeah. I got involved last night / this morning with a handful of plays, 5 of them, and I'm waiting on 3 numbers. I missed one number and I'm pissed about it. But let's start with some action for tomorrow night. I took Eastern Michigan plus 4.5 at Northern Illinois. This is a field goal game. This isn't a late 4.5 game. I'm not a huge fan of the Huskies, and I love Eastern and that road dog roll. That's what they do. They hang around in these games. I didn't know the 4.5 would be there. I grabbed the Eastern Michigan Eagles, betting number 103 plus 4.5. I took East Carolina, betting number 131 minus 13.5 at UConn. They beat them by, I think, 6 touchdowns last year. They're coming off a bye. They played much better. They just played the top 2 teams in the conferences before the bye and took them both to the wire and lost. This is a blowout spot for East Carolina, betting number 131 minus 13.5. That number, too, I think is still widely available right now. Widely available. Illinois, betting number, you guys knew I was going back to the window with the Illini. Plus 14. I got a plus 14 at Iowa. Iowa played as good as they can play against Minnesota, and they were a missed extra point away from pushing or failing to cover at the end. We saw the Frosch running back come in and make some plays. The defense played really well. Huge win, all that. Now they got to lay doubles against an Illinois team that nobody respects. Nuh-uh. Give me the Illini plus 14. That's betting number 143. I played Texas again as a dog. And this line this line absolutely baffled me. I got a plus 5.5 with Texas at Baylor. Baylor's coming off their first loss of the year, a game that they had and let go. Whatever. We all watched it on Saturday night. I don't know how well Baylor bounces back from that. And Herman is a dog, cashed again this last Saturday. I thought the 5.5 was a bargain. There's a 6 out there now. I'm kind of kicking myself for missing it. And last but not least, betting number 199. Oh, that one's gone. Yeah, I had to go. I took San Jose minus 4.5. I got that this morning. That's gone already. That's 6s now. 199, San Jose minus 4.5 at UNLV. It's Tony Sanchez's last home game. I expect the Rebels will draw about 10,000 fans, and no one will care that Sanchez will be fired. If he's not fired after the game, he'll be fired after the next one. This is a San Jose spot. I thought that line was really cheap at 4.5. And obviously, even at 6, I'm not going to talk you out of it. That's been bet up in the last half hour, 45 minutes, and deservedly so, in my opinion. So that's 5 that I bet: Eastern Michigan, East Carolina, Illinois, Texas, San Jose State. 2 favorites, 3 dogs, all road teams so far.
I like it. I like it a lot. And it goes into one of my questions that I'll ask you very, very soon. But also, what are the ones that you are waiting for a number on?
So I missed a 14 with Memphis. Betting number 119, Memphis. They are at South Florida. It's 14.5. I didn't play it at 14.5, and I'll see if it comes back down to 14. There's been South Florida money the llast couple of weeks. South Florida covered against Cincinnati. Cincinnati didn't play well, and if you watch the second half of that game, Cincinnati did kind of whatever they wanted to against the USF defense. I don't think you had. But anyhow, I missed the 14. I'm going to hold and see if it comes back. If not, I may not play it. But Memphis at 14. Betting number 163, though, Wolfpack, Nevada. They're sitting at 13.5 right now. I'm going to wait for a 14 there. I think I'll get to the window with Nevada at 14. I'm not a Fresno believer. We said it last week. We cashed a ticket with San Diego State over the weekend. Was that Friday night? And Nevada's shown life down the stretch. And Fresno's not a team I want to lay 2 touchdowns with. So I'm waiting on that. I think I'll see a 14 in that game with Nevada. And I probably should have pulled the trigger on Marshall at 6.5. That's going to 7. I'll probably do that after the show. But I'm a little bit worried about the spot for the Thundering Herd. I am. They're coming off a huge win against a team that wasn't themselves, and it was a national TV win. And now they're going and laying on the road against. And I feel like they should throttle this team. I feel like Marshall's a lot better than Charlotte, but I'm a little bit worried about the spot. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I may. Right at, like I said, the number's moving to 7. So if I'm going to pull the trigger, it'll be this morning, I would think. But I haven't done it yet.
There it is. Those are the ones that he's close to: Memphis, Nevada, and Marshall. We have questions coming in, Teddy, and why not start with the 8th overall pick in the 1999 NFL Draft? David Boston in our chat right now says, what up, guys? Our guys down here in Houston are all over the Hoosiers plus 8.5 and the Longhorns plus 5.5. You already let us know that you are backing the Longhorns. What do you think about this spot here, Indiana, Michigan, Indiana at plus 8.5?
I don't know. Part of me thinks that Michigan is not a team I want to stand in front of. Remember when Michigan lost to Wisconsin and the chat was going crazy? And I was like, Michigan will be fine. Bet them this week. Like Michigan, I think they've covered 5 out of 6 since that loss to the Badgers. And they've been throttling teams. And Indiana, they fought tooth and nail last week. I like Indiana in general, catching more than a touchdown, because that team does fight to the closing gun. But there's a pretty big defensive disparity between the Wolverines and the Hoosiers. I don't know what to do with the game. It's not anything that I had an initial lean on. We'll do some work on it during the week and see if something pops out.
All right, it is a big game we will be talking about throughout the week. We have a lot of questions coming in, and I'm copying, pasting as much as possible. Let's go to our guy, Arthur Mead Jr., and you've already made a move on Illinois, and so, Arthur Mead, we already know what our Teddy Covers thinks of the Illinois-Iowa spot, and Arthur on the same side, liking Illinois and the points. And Trey Hicks wants to know about Minnesota Northwestern, and you did talk briefly about it, but you haven't got to the window with Minnesota or either side on this game. What are you thinking about rotation number 149, 150, Minnesota Northwestern? Minnesota opening up at 12.5 now, 13 and 13.5 on the board.
I'm probably not going to play the game. I certainly don't think that Northwestern is fixed because of UMass over the weekend. If you watch that game, and I did, I couldn't help myself. And of course it landed right, 38, 38.5, 39, 39.5, 40, and it lands right on 39. That wasn't a good result for the books at all in that contest. A lot of bettors. Whichever side you had in that game, you were supposed to cash. I'll just leave it at that. But that doesn't make me think that Northwestern is fixed, and I'm not excited about getting the window with Northwestern in this game. But I don't know how the Gopher is going to react to that loss. I didn't get a sense that I wanted to lay double digits on the road with Minnesota this next week. They didn't play well at Iowa. It was as poorly as they played all year. They played a heck of a second half to get back into the game, and then, kicker problems. I don't trust the Gophers to lay this price, and I don't trust Northwestern to hang with anyone. It's probably going to be a pass for me.
Probably going to be a pass. We have questions coming in. The next is from Eddie Euler. Eddie Euler wanting to know about this spot rotation number 115, 116, Nebraska, Maryland. Nebraska opening up at -5, now -4s across the board. Any early feel on Nebraska, Maryland?
Yeah, that line kind of stood out a little bit, didn't it? That's one that stood out to me last night as well. I think my number was much shorter. I had Nebraska as chalk, but I sure as heck didn't have them as 5-point chalk. You know that betting number offhand?
115, 116?
Oh, I'm looking in the wrong place. Sorry, 115. No, my number was 4.5. And I thought I'm like, wow, Nebraska 4.5, and then the market came out 5 and then got bet down to 4. I know I won't be laying on the road with Nebraska, okay? Although at some point the Huskers will cover a point spread, right? The only team worse ATS this year is Akron. And that's, you don't want to be in the same sentence as Akron for anything when it comes to college football. Nebraska's in that same sentence. Obviously, it's a line that looks at first glance as a head scratcher. That said, do you want to, before I go against Nebraska, I want to see something from Maryland that says we're interested. Remember that Loxley got him going. That didn't last through September. It's been a pretty ugly run for the Terrapins the last couple of months since that hot start. Or they 2-0 when things went south. It didn't take long. I could only take Maryland. I I shouldn't say that. I'm not likely to play the game. And this is another one where I want to see what Nebraska's saying, and I want to see what Maryland's saying. This is a place where player quotes could come into could definitely factor in the equation for me. Neither team necessarily in a great spot here. And if you find a team that's coming to play when neither team's in a great spot here, you can make money in these type of spots.
Stelio wants to know about Oregon State, and we've already heard our Matt Randall liking Oregon State. Here, rotation number 169, 170. Washington State opening up as 12.5-point favorites. It's now down to 12 at most books. Oregon State, Washington State.
Yeah, my number was 13.5. And Washington State's performance this past weekend, and again, it's coming against a lesser foe in a rough spot, but that was a buy sign for me. You know, just like Michigan's second half against Penn State was a buy sign, this was a buy sign for Wazoo. And if Wazoo, when they get going offensively, Oregon State's not going to have an answer defensively for Washington State if Washington State gets chucking the football around. So it's a matter of, can they score enough? Certainly lean over in this game. That, to me, might be the strongest bet. If you like Oregon State, it makes sense to put something on the over because I don't see them shutting down the Cougs.
The over might be a look. All right. Question coming in from Dustin H. Says, what does Teddy think about Ohio Bowling Green? This is Tuesday night action. Ohio opening up as 17.5-point favorites on the road, now 18.5. Rotation number 101, 102, Ohio Bowling Green tomorrow evening.
Yeah, my number came shorter. My number only came 16. And Ohio's another one of these teams. I mean, they've been a point spread disaster area. They've been ugly ATS. You know, I think they're in Nebraska territory. They covered more. I think they've only covered one or two spreads all year. You know, they've had a rough time in that regard. So I'm not in a rush to lay a price here with the Bobcats. And especially, again, you know, they're coming off back-to-back devastating losses at home to Miami O by a field goal and to Western Michigan by a field goal, and all their dreams are gone. They have 2-point spread coverage for the year. So Ohio's not a team I'm excited about this week laying this price. And Bowling Green is what Bowling Green is. You know, they're a team that can lose 44-3 at Miami O last week. Ohio lost by 3 to Western Michigan. Bowling Green lost by 39. You know, they're bottom feeders, and I don't want bottom feeders in November. So it's almost surely going to be a pass for me.
Next question comes in from Vincent Hawkins. Says, Teddy, do you think USC will cover against UCLA? Rotation number 165, 166. USC opening up as 13-point favorites. It's up to 14 at BetOnline and Heritage, now 13.5 everywhere else. What does USC do as 2 touchdown favorites here this weekend?
So I was wrong about both these teams this past Saturday, so take whatever I say with a big grain of salt. But I don't trust the Trojans as chalk, and I think the Bruins have a better game in them than the one we just saw. You know, this is a Chip Kelly game. We're going to learn something about UCLA this week. You know, and you talked about, I mean, there was a 1 fumble 6 that changed the whole game. But you talked about it when the Bruins were driving near the goal line and then a bad blitz and DRT was ugly. What was that? You know, that was not a quarterback taking care of the football. But in theory, it's supposed to be a pretty strong Bruins bounce back spot against their rivals. My initial lean would have to be towards UCLA, even off that ugly loss last week. In part because I don't trust the USC, although USC just played as well as I've seen them play all year at Cal. They were good, and USC's A game. I mean, they certainly have top 20 talent. I'm debating as to whether I think they have top 10 talent, but you know, USC's A game is good enough to beat anybody in the Pac-12 by 2 touchdowns, with the exception of Oregon. And yeah, you see, I love Mondays. I'm talking the stuff out on air. My initial lean is towards taking the points.
Yeah, get our money back. I don't know. Let's keep rolling, and we're gonna stay out west. Prince of the City says, Jimmy, the Ducks are on a roll. I said it against USC in Arizona, and I'm saying it again this week. Oregon minus 14.5-point favorites at Arizona State. Do they keep rolling?
So that's another one. What's that betting number? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, 151, 152. My fault.
Yeah, because there was, so my first lean in that game was, my number's Oregon 17 for what it's worth. So it's a little bit higher than the markets. I wouldn't talk you out of playing the Ducks. No way. And it's a lot of points. Arizona State's been headed in the wrong direction for some time. It's still a lot of points. This isn't, a quote-unquote value play for me. But if I'm playing the game, Oregon has proven on both sides of the football to be bet on. And Arizona State's been declining on one side or the other in just about every game. When the offense works, the defense hasn't. When the defense has worked, the offense hasn't. And that's, Herman Edwards, I have to call that team a pretty big disappointment right now, considering what we thought they would be, coming out of non-conference play. But what's it, 4 straight losses, 4 straight non-covers. And again, Utah, UCLA, USC, Oregon State. Solid competition, but not ridiculous competition. Have they lost by this margin at home? The one thing is that you don't see Arizona State losing by this margin at home very often. That's certainly a concern. But, I don't know that I'm excited about the Sun Devils here.
Next question coming in from Mark Unkafer. Duke versus Wake Forest. Rotation number 127, 128. Wake Forest, 6.5-point home favorites. What do you feel about this line?
So that's another one that stood. My number came 7. And that it was sitting 6.5. Duke's not going to play a worse game than one they just had against Syracuse. That was as ugly as it gets for the Blue Devils. It's kind of embarrassing. And in theory, I kind of want Duke off an embarrassing loss. But again, now it's 4 straight losses for the Blue Devils. 5 in their last 6 games. The only win during that span came against Georgia Tech. It's pretty clear that Duke's not very good. And when you're wiped out, and they haven't scored, more than 17 points in a month. I'm not sure how Wake's going to respond. What we've seen the last 2 weeks, where they just, this team was in good form and in good shape and winning all the close games, and they get bombed by Virginia Tech and bombed even worse by Clemson. And both those are road games. It's their get-right spot against Duke and all of that. In theory, I guess I want the favorite here, but this is what I want to do. I need to understand why Duke was annihilated at home this last weekend before I get involved in the game. It's not one that I saw, and it's not anything that's anything that I read yesterday stood out to me. So this is let's do some work on this type of game. Initial lean towards the favorite. Right now, Duke's a little bit of a train wreck.
Christian Walsh says, Teddy, have you shared the other NCAA? We're talking NCAA basketball, so I'm going to wait on that, Christian Walsh. I will copy and paste that. Okay, let's move on. Eddie Ola says, San Diego State now 1-9 to the under. Next up Saturday on the road at Hawaii. I don't have a total in front of me. You might have already seen one in Vegas. Here, San Diego State, Hawaii. Hawaii opening up as 1-point favorites now, 1.5 at some books. You have any feel on this spot?
I have a total, but I want you to guess it. Because this is a hard total to think about,
So hard.
Just throw out a number. I'll make fun of you regardless of what it is.
52.
Oh, my God, you nailed it. That's actually what the number is. I kid you not, dude. 52 is the total. That's the only book that has a posted total right now. Did you look that up, or did you?
No, I swear to God, I just fired it out.
That's beautiful, dude.
I just tried to go.
The total is 52.
I just tried to go in the middle of like 75 and 35, right? The two totals for the two teams.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. I'm not exactly going to play a whole lot of San Diego State games over the total. And I still don't understand what Hawaii. Whatever, the Rebels didn't show last week, but I thought that game was going to have 100 points and it had 4 touchdowns total between UNLV and Hawaii. I'm not playing San Diego State over 52, and I could only look at the Aztecs in that game. I think San Diego State's better than Hawaii But I do worry a little bit about this. This is, again, it's a Hawaii's get-right spot, in theory. Is this their last? Let me look at something real quick. Because I do pay attention to those last home games and the senior nights and all that kind of crap. No, they have Army the next week. So it's not last home game or senior night or anything like that for the Rainbow Warriors. Lean Aztecs. They're underpriced, and if you're playing the Aztecs, you ain't playing the over.
Yeah, I like that. And DJ Big Boss says, Hawaii's my pick. Says if San Diego State gets behind, there's no way they can catch up. No way they can catch up. So that's a very interesting spot right there. Okay.
See, I got to disagree with that because, again, San Diego State left, 17 points off the board against Fresno. I mean, they could have easily won that game by twice the score that they did, but they fumbled in the red zone. And they had a touchdown overturned, and then they had missed a field goal. And those things tend to happen more to San Diego State than other teams. But against the Hawaii's caliber of defense, I would think that the Aztecs will be able to score. Just leave it at that.
We are running out of time here. Still questions coming in. Rod Zawacki says, can you ask Teddy about Boston College, Notre Dame, rotation number 161, 162, Notre Dame opening up at -19. There's a 19.5 on the board. Can Boston College stay within that number?
My number came 19. The market opened 19. It feels like Notre Dame will win the game by 19. This is not one that I had a strong initial lean on at all. The problem with BC, if they can't run, they can't win. And I'm not convinced they're going to be able to run against Notre Dame. If they can run, they're live to win the game, or at least give the Irish a real battle. So this might be one that's better for in-game wagering than pre-game wagering. And again, my number and the point spread is all right where it is. So it's not something that I had a strong initial lean on.
All right. A couple more questions from Rod. Rod wondering if you think that Ball State can take care of business. Rotation 117, 118. Ball State 3-point road favorites at Kent State.
So let me just get my number for this. 117, 118. My number was 2.5 on Ball State, Kent State. And I remember there was something that stood out to me on this one. Oh, yeah. This is what stood out to me. That Ball State hasn't won a game in like a month. And again, when you lose the way they did against Central Michigan, first they had Western, they took Western to the wire and lost that one. And then they had Central and lost that one. Right at the very end, despite the positive turnover margin. I worry about them going on the highway this week and bringing their A game. I know back-to-backs to get bowl eligible, and I know that Kent State's got to do the same thing. And I know that Kent State stole that game against Buffalo last week. I mean, we all saw it. It was an absolute thievery. When you recover the onside kick and you block a punt all in the last 5 minutes of the game, and you end up winning at the end. To do that twice, I don't expect them to do it, but they've been hanging tough in all of these games. So it's really not a game that I've got a strong Monday morning lead. Monday morning lean. So I wish you. I'll try to help you later in the week. Right now, I got nothing.
No worries. We'll keep rolling here. Eddie Orler letting us know the Bucks have moved up to 9-point favorites at Pinnacle. Very interesting. Paco Hill says Aztecs just held a Fresno team that averaged 35 points a game to 7 points. Huge implications in game 2. Enough to stay off the side and just hit the under. Very interesting from Paco Healy. Okay, we're going to put a bow on this with one final question from Rod Zawacki. He wants to know if you think that Louisville, rotation number 190, 192, Syracuse, Louisville 8-point favorites at home, gone up to 8.5 in a few books. Do you agree with the market move towards Louisville, and do you think that the supporting them would be a good look this weekend? So
Louisville's one that I felt like I should have been stronger with you guys last week, and I should have been stronger on it. And I pussyfooted my way out of a Louisville bet against NC State, and that was dumb. That being said, that was last week, and this is this week. So you can't let last week influence you. And Syracuse is coming off their best game of the year, and a game that I didn't understand and I didn't see coming. So before I lay with Louisville, I need to understand how Syracuse did that. That being said, Louisville has, all the talk about Satterfield coming into the season and, watch out for this coach and watch out for this team. I mean, they've lived up to and exceeded all those expectations. A team like that are teams you make money with. I don't have a whole lot of interest in stepping in front of Louisville this week. That said, my number only came 7, and I'm not convinced I'm going to be laying with Louisville either. Let's do a little work on the Syracuse side here and see what how the Orange did and how they're feeling right now after a big blowout win.
Very quickly, I wanted to make that the last game, but Matt Randall, who's so hot right now, the man is just on fire. He's loving Miami here against FIU. Miami opening up at 17.5-point favorites now, 18 or 18.5. He says, they beat FSU by 17. They beat Louisville by 25. Their quarterback is rolling. They will crush FIU. This is rotation number 209, 210, Miami, FIU. What do you think of Matt Randall being so bullish with Miami?
So my number's 18. I'll tell you what, the only way I would play is to lay. All right. I agree 100% with Matt Randall. Even though my number doesn't show it, there's a class difference between these two teams that is very real, and I don't see Miami looking past FIU. I understand it's big brother, little brother. Miami is rolling right now, and they are a one-way team. If I'm not betting on them, I'm not getting involved in the game.
Interesting. I think I might have to jump on that as well. Wow, there you have it. There's Teddy Covers on a Monday morning. I love having you on these. I love having you every day, but I love hearing your looks that you are already at the window with. That's Eastern Michigan plus 4.5, East Carolina minus 13.5, Illinois plus 14, Texas plus 5.5, San Jose State minus 4.5, and we think that he will get to the window with Marshall very soon. Also waiting for a number with Memphis and Nevada. In NBA, you are fading the New York Knicks. Teddy Covers is fading the Knicks. There's a lot of guys in the chat on Knicks first half. Teddy is backing the Cavaliers. And Monday night, no move yet on the Monday Nighter, which is a tricky game in Azteca Stadium. Teddy, thank you so much for joining us. Follow Teddy on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. He's a great follow. And Teddy, love having you start the week with us. Thank you for joining us this Monday morning.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. Good luck. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk again tomorrow.
There he is, Teddy Covers. Catch him here every morning at Betting with the Bag, and this is what I'm on. I still have not made a move in NHL. That market move towards the over in Ducks Capitals is interesting. I'm not sure what to do with it exactly, but I am on these plays right now. I am on Hornets plus 9 at plus 100. I've already bet that. That's the only one I've already bet. And then the rest of the card, I'm on Suns minus 3.5 full game and Celtics first quarter money line. Christopher made a good point that if I do think Celtics first quarter money line, then I should just in-play it at that point. And I get that. I'm also going to make moves on the Thunder. I'm going to back them first quarter, first half. I'm going to make moves on the Thunder. If this number there's no rush. I'm just going to wait. Jin saying definitely like Kent State. We have college football starting off tomorrow. Brant Hunt, Brooklyn Funk Project, Midnight Piper, Eddie Euler, Guru Sports Bets. All you guys. Michael Jordan, Corey Simmons, Guru Sports Bets. What a great group. Jay Peach, Matt Randall, Paco Healy, Eddie Euler. Don't forget about Matt Randall's action. This man is just putting money in everybody's pockets. Matt Randall's Taint play of the day, Notre Dame minus 24. That number is gone. But that's Taint play of the day. Other plays, Bryant minus 1, West Virginia minus 15.5, Belmont minus 22.5, Auburn minus 15, Michigan State over 141. Taint 9-1 in his last 10, and he's hitting 76% in NCAA basketball. That's spectacular. And join Maxwell Smart. Will be here for the Late Show, where we will break down the entire NCAA basketball card. I think we might be able to get to touch each and every game. And then live line this evening. And then on Wednesday evening, DJ Big Boss, Big Ragoo, and myself are going live. Playoff Drive live, Pick 6 show. We're going to be live hanging out with you guys, so I hope you join us Wednesday night. Other than that, we have no show without you guys. Thank you for all your insights, all your humor. And I'm excited. Let's have a big week. We had a big week last week. Let's keep it rolling. And I will catch you guys on the Late Show at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. But most importantly, Leche, hey, los bookmakers!